James Franklin, he drops another big game. It just keeps happening. It's almost impressive how he can always lose big games, but he's playing at UCLA, and that's anything from a big game. It's a cakewalk game. Minus 25.5. Look, you always are liable for a backdoor cover because those things just happen when you're favored by 4 touchdowns. But Penn State's going to put on a clinic. This is what they do. They put on a clinic against 3 mediocre teams, then they beat an okay team. Then we get excited. Can they beat the big team? They can't. Next game of the week is Texas, number 9 against Florida, or at Florida. Texas is -7. Florida could get interesting. I know they've lost some close games early. It'd be crazy to lose to an FAU team and then to beat Texas, but I'm calling it. I am calling it. I think this Texas offense is overrated. I think they are inconsistent, and I think they could get caught lacking in Florida. We'll have to see, though. We got Vanderbilt, number 16, going to Alabama, number 10. Alabama is -10.5. And look, Vandy is 5-0. They're a top 20 team, and we've got them as 10.5-point dogs. I will say, Alabama's talented. Definitely more talented than Vanderbilt, and they're at home. But double digits, 2 ranked teams. This isn't the Alabama of the old days with Nick Saban. This is a good team, not a great team. I'll take the points in Vandy. We got number 24 ranked Virginia at Louisville. Louisville's -7. Look, I get Virginia. Virginia beat a decent team in FSU, but this is the SEC bias. And you're like, what do you mean? Virginia's not an SEC, but here's the way it works: is all of the SEC teams are talked about as they are the best thing ever. The worst SEC team could beat an NFL team in some of these people's minds. Paul Feigenbaum, he thinks the SEC is just the best thing ever. So to start the season, all of the SEC teams are ranked. The top 10 SEC teams are ranked 1 through 10. In the polling, Florida State beats one of the best teams ever. Alabama could compete with the Chiefs on any given Sunday. So FSU beats them, and FSU automatically becomes one of the best teams. Well, then UVA ends up beating FSU, and then they're like, okay, well, I guess we've got to have UVA ranked. So there's so many steps removed from the SEC dominance that they just get absurd. Look, Virginia, UVA is not a top 25 team. It's completely absurd. Louisville's going to win. Kent State at Oklahoma. Oklahoma is -45.5. I mean, what do I even say to this? This is how absurd college football is, and this is why I'm more of an NFL guy. The over-under is 53.5, and the spread is 45.5, which that essentially means that they're projecting this game to essentially be 50-3. Based on the over-under as well as the point spread, they're saying that the game is going to be 50-3. What? I mean, it could happen. Obviously, people are betting on it, but 50-3. I mean, that's an amazing line. It's a very important football game that needs to be played. Next, we got Texas Tech at Houston. Texas Tech is -11.5. I haven't watched either of these teams play, so I'm not even going to give a take on that one. Miami going to Florida State. Miami is -4.5, 7:30 Eastern. Florida State needs to bounce back. Look, they beat Alabama early. They kind of ambushed them. Then they ended up losing to UVA on Friday night. They're underdogs at home. This is a big one. If Florida State wants to stay in contention, ACC team losing 2 games, especially if you can't make the playoffs, or not the playoffs, but if you can't make the ACC championship, there's no way you can make the playoffs with 2 losses. They got to win this one. Florida State has got to win. And even if they win this one, it's probably a 50-50 if they can make it. But they've got to win this one, especially having that tiebreaker over Miami. It's big. It's big. And Miami doesn't really need this one. They could drop this one and still try to manage their way in. And that is it.